I think it's definitely helped our team. I mean, every team grows from their experiences throughout the year, and we certainly are no different. It was a very strong league this year, top to bottom. A lot of really good teams, a lot of physical play, and the game yesterday was certainly put that on display.
Many people have said that LSU looks a lot more like a Big 12 team these days. How much have you seen of LSU so far this year?
Not much. Obviously, no, they're playing well, done a great job. Offensively, quarterbacks obviously played really well for them, and very talented football team. So we'll start getting into them here shortly.
Hey, Coach Riley, it's been awesome to watch your offense, reinvent yourself the last couple years with Baker and Kyler. This year, how different has it been for you as a play caller with a quarterback like Jalen Hurts?
It's been different, but it's to be expected. It was different the last few years too, and we've always taken pride in adapting to the guys that we have, and Jalen's done a tremendous job. I mean, won all the games but one. Had 50 touchdowns accounted for. I mean, he's played really well, and we hope his best ball's right here at the end.
Coach, your defense has been criticized in years past, but there's been major improvement this season. Can you quantify the impact defensive coordinator Alex Grinch has had on this unit? And what in particular are you seeing from an improvement standpoint on the defensive side of the ball?
Yeah, no, Coach Grinch and our staff have done a great job. We knew that we wanted to go in a different direction as far as the culture and mentality first, and give our coaches credit, players credit for buying in there. We've played, I think, more confident, more aggressive ball, making a lot of plays, big plays in big games, and doing it early, kind of in that defensive tenure here. And so it's been fun to see how much better we've gotten through the year, and our players we've got a lot of very dominant games, and yesterday was a great example.
Third straight year, Lincoln, that you get an SEC team in the playoff, third different one you faced. What impact is there in terms of preparation when you've faced off with teams from that conference, which has been in many cases, along with Clemson, the standard bearer during the college football playoff era?
Oh, I don't put it into conferences. I mean, there's individual teams in conferences. I don't really see much carryover. I do believe, LSU is a really good football team, and that's part of the playoff. I mean, the playoff it's nothing new to us. You should be facing really good teams, and there's no doubt we're going to be facing a good team, and LSU is going to be facing a pretty good team too.
There's no question about that. I mean, you're back in the playoff now. Certainly some. We're not going to have it this year. Adjusted, if at all, your schedule, your preparation plan, that type of thing through the experiences that you've had the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's definitely grown. It's the scheduling is there's a lot to it because there's a lot of different scenarios, things at play, and then this year, is a little bit different for everybody because everything's a week later this year, and so it'll be new for all of us, even I guess Coach Swinney and myself, the two that have been in it. It will definitely be even different for us. So, but you definitely learn through the years. Some things that we've done very well, some things that we know we need to do better from a preparation standpoint. We'll build a schedule here quickly now that we know where we're going and get a plan together and go execute it.
Lincoln, you're known as one of the more innovative thinkers and play callers and offensive minds, not just in the college game, but all of football. Last couple of years, we've marveled at what Baker's been able to do and Kyler, and this year early, especially with what Jalen has done. And yet, within the season, from right around the Kansas State game on, you guys kind of changed your personality and how you attacked. Can you kind of talk about that, what you guys were challenged with and the answers that you came up with right in the middle of the year?
I think we've just kind of continued to evolve, honestly, as the years gone on. Some of it's how people are playing you, some of it's how your personnel evolves, and not only was Jalen new this year, but the entire offensive line was new, other than our center, and so a lot of very, very new pieces. A lot of and the whole thing is just trying to put something together that gives us advantages and gives us a chance to win. And so we've done some good things. We still think our best ball offensively is out there, and so excited about having a chance to grow over the next couple of weeks, and then headed to Atlanta.
So if you're going to have your best ball offensively over the next couple of weeks and then the game against LSU, in what areas would you like to see some growth from Jalen in terms of the passing game?
Oh, I think I think it's just consistency from our group as a whole. As you guys know, sometimes the throw's off and it's a route. Sometimes it's a protection. Sometimes it's a read or a throw by a quarterback. I mean, it takes the whole group being in sync. And when we play in sync, we play pretty good. And we've got to do that more consistently, especially against a good team. And so that'll be certainly our challenge going into this one.
Lincoln, we appreciate your time, my friend. Congratulations, 3 for 3 in making the college football playoff. Wish you the best of luck.
All right, thank you.
Lincoln Riley, the head coach at Oklahoma. So you have a couple of guys who've been around that playoff block a time or two in Lincoln Riley and Dabo Swinney. History, not only in passing touchdowns, but also in yards. Think about the quarterbacks that have played in that league.
I think he broke my record like 3 quarters into his team.
First game.
Probably so. Jalen Hurts transferred from Alabama to Oklahoma. He's going to the playoff for the 4th time, 4 for 4 in his career, making it to the college football playoff.
Life is good, right?
Yeah, for him, and the rushing TDs have really helped it. Speaking of transfer quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Georgia, Ohio State. All 3 transfer. Look at the numbers he put up. Now, Dwayne Haskins had more passing touchdowns in the season. He had more touchdown passes this year than Drew Brees. It's a pretty good company. And the only guy who's still where he signed, old Trevor Lawrence, a reigning national champion quarterback, still hasn't lost a game. Got off to a great start. Trying to go back-to-back as a national champion. Clemson quarterback with Maria Taylor.
Trevor, it was so exciting to be in the room when the matchup was officially announced. And as soon as they said Ohio State, everyone in here started roaring. What was your reaction to hearing the matchup?
I mean, I think no matter who it was, we would have been excited, but just knowing that we've been to Arizona, well, not me personally, but this team has been to Arizona before and played Ohio State back in, 2016, and just kind of having that matchup again, it definitely is exciting. But honestly, no matter who it was up there, we were going to be pumped.
Your coach, the first thing he said, he mentioned the history of starting number 1 and ending number 3 for the first time since 1966, almost to put a chip on that shoulder. How would you describe the reaction to hearing that little tidbit of information?
Just, obviously Coach Swinney is so good at that and giving us stuff that's true and that is happening. And just kind of looking at the season, like you said, going undefeated and still being number 3 at the end of the year, it definitely is a chip on our shoulder, and we're just excited to have the opportunity to prove ourselves. So.
All right, thanks for your time, Trevor.
Thank you.
Trevor, Maria, thank you. Did you notice sort of like the devil angel thing over the little shoulder? Herbstreit was right over
the shoulder,
right over Trevor's shoulder on the screen.
Just sitting there watching, eating pizza, watching this show. They don't watch.
Hey, what about Trevor Lawrence came into this season, can't miss guy, going to be the Heisman Trophy guy, and a lot of it was a product of Clemson not having those marquee type games, but. Really, since you look at his numbers since that North Carolina game last half of the season, they are off the charts.
I mean, it got to a point. I remember you said he's kind of going off. What did you say?
He's on fire.
Well, early when he was making mistakes, went off rogue or whatever you said. A lot of people thought he was making decisions we just would never expect to see from him. All of a sudden, I think he realized, you know what? I don't have to try to live up to these unrealistic expectations. And I think since that Carolina game, middle of the year, he's settled in and he's just letting the game come to him. Instead of living up to where Trevor Lawrence was when they played Alabama. Like every game, that's the bar. You have to play to that level. And I think he pressed early. In the last 6-7 weeks, he's not done that at all.
It looked like he was playing without consequences, right? And I think that sometimes happens to quarterbacks when you have a defense that's that good and you're only giving up 10 points a game. You've got receivers like Higgins and Ross that are 6'4", that you've thrown 50-50 balls up to and post routes down the middle of the field to that have gone up in double coverage and plucked it out of the field. You're just like, I'm going to take the shot, and if it's picked, I'm going to get the ball back anyway. This isn't going to cost us a game. I think he got a lot of those out of his system. It was frustrating Dabo on the sideline. That Louisville game, those picks in the end zone, you could see that. Enough. And to Trevor Lawrence and Coach Elliott and Scott, they got him to kind of calm back down. They kind of reined him in a little bit to make better decisions, and that's exactly what he's been doing these last 6 games.
We watched Sam Darnold do the same thing at USC. He was making these throws in games, and you're watching like, what would make him throw this ball? Why would he do that? And I do believe that the 1-point win against North Carolina made not just Trevor Lawrence, not just that, but the entire team said, let's wake up. We're talented. We deserve to be in a certain place. We believe we'll win the ACC, but we're not going to be able to sleepwalk and do it. And since then, not just Trevor Lawrence, but the entire team has been different. When Trevor Lawrence is playing at this level, this is why anybody thinks that Clemson can win the national championship, because of those weapons. You're throwing to T. Higgins and Ross and Rodgers outside. You got these big guys, and you got Rodgers who can fly. He has the weapons outside to throw it to. if he takes care of the football, which he has done, Clemson can beat anyone in the country.
And I think the reason it changed for me, I think, is because, remember, you got humps in the offseason like me that was like, Trevor Lawrence would have been the number 1 pick last year if he came out. And I can tell you as a player, I remember my sophomore year when you get all that praise heaped on you, you believe it a little bit, okay? I mean, it's human nature that you get all those pats on the back, and instead of having something to prove, I've already done it. I've already accomplished something. Well, then the negativity creeps in, and you got one way to go or another. You handle some adversity, and you deal with it, and you overcome it, or you let it beat you down. And you could tell he handled some adversity. He handled people actually questioning him for the first time. Came in, you get more detail-oriented, you watch more tape, you grind more, and again, you got that chip back on your shoulder that you got something to prove.
Oh, you two guys played quarterback at a high level and understand the position so well. Is it true? No, Kirk.
My bad.
Kirk and Jesse.
I played a little quarterback.
Okay, I'm sure you did.
So did Reese. So did Reese, okay?
You're one of the great athletes in the history of the world. Congratulations.
I appreciate that.
But sometimes when you are a freshman and you're playing early, you want to stay between the guardrails.
Yeah.
Just observing. Isn't it tempting that when you, in Trevor's case, maybe he knew too much. He understood everything. Yeah, I can do that. I mean,
I think
you're more willing to color outside the line.
Yeah, for sure, because you know more. But I think in his case, he experienced so much success that very few guys do early, like what David's talking about, that there's a tendency to want to press and live up to it and force the issue. I think that's what hurt him early. And I think Deshaun Watson in the same system did the same thing. Early success. He's trying to be Deshaun Watson, and then eventually he settled in, and he went on to win a national title.
Not just the expectations on him, but also on this offense. Same thing that happened with Deshaun Watson. That was supposed to be the greatest offense we'd ever seen in college football with all the weapons that they have, and with ETN and all those receivers coming back. If you're Trevor Lawrence, you're thinking, I'm the quarterback. I'm the guy this is going to fall on. We have to live up to that. I've got to make every play. It's not just touchdowns or checkdowns, and that's kind of some of the issue they got into earlier this year.
They're doing it.